Hey, brothers and sisters, what's going on? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. All right, and we are going to talk about this. Are the BW Cointelpro 2.0? Okay, and this is why I say this. They are using you see it, the Gheiy tactic to discredit truth by Kevin Samuels. Now, this isn't the only person, but we're going to use him because right now, because of where he is, as far as the community, the same women that you see here with this kind of sneakiness and dishonesty are the very ones that are trying to call him out for, he's not exposing them, but he created a platform whereby these women come on the platform and expose themselves for the cheats and liars that we've known them to be. Only recently, though. See, before WorldStar, before Facebook, before Google, before TikTok, before Instagram, before all the social media, the BW has been able to keep knowledge of her wickedness in check. Alright? But with all the rest of the social media out there, it was just video and stuff, and they can block that. But this man had a platform that is not easily shut down. So what do? They try to discredit the man in hopes of discrediting the truth. This is such a white governmental tactic to the so-called black women out there. This is why the Afro man thinks that there is no difference between you and the oppressive white government racist system, and if you want to call it that way, that everyone thinks that they are a part of. Now, I give not that much credence to how the racist system is doing so much harm, because I think a lot of the harm going on in the Afro community is self-inflicted by way of the BW. And the other problem is when righteous men get up there to check them, they run to the unrighteous men who will cover for them. Why? Because we're black. Yes, black. From the land of Crayola. Not a nation, but a color in a box of crayons. Sorry, I am not black. So let me greet everybody real quick. Havorn Hardu good dog. Hola. Oi, to the bang. Basas los bonjour mes amis. Keda, bawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama. Sani bonani. Jambo herbarigani. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. Alright, so as we break this down, we are going to go into Cointelpro, and then I'm going to show you excerpts from the Willie Lynch letters. So, brothers and sisters, if you want a copy of those letters, if you want a copy of the Willie Lynch letter, just let me know. All right, so before I get started, let me remind you, brothers, let's get those thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. Okay? Share this video on all platforms. Brothers, the reason why YouTube is able to shadow ban channels, and the reason why Afro men who tell the truth are not getting as much play as the Caucasians who tell the truth, because the Afro men and the Caucasians will share the Caucasians' videos. But a lot of the Afro men that understand that brothers are speaking the truth will not really share those videos amongst the other brethren as much as they will share other people's video with the very dude that they watch. I got many brothers sharing other people's videos with me who say they watch my channel but don't share my videos with other people. And I know this because of how many people that they share to. And if they did a little bit, that the channel would get more exposure, there would be more truth told. But they share my content, they share what I say, only they share it as if they're the ones saying it. All right, that's sad, brothers. That's sad. The message is getting out, but that's a sad way to get it out. All right, so for those that can, and y'all like what my channel does for the community, and you like what I do in the communities of Afro peoples, my PayPal me and my Cash App will be in the description box. But remember, you always take care of yourself and family first. All right, you don't donate a damn thing to nobody until you take care of yourself and the things you need to survive and even be happy with. Then from out of that abundance, then you give. All right, so with that said, let's move on. All right. Now I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is the goals of Cointelpro. Prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist groups. Prevent the rise of a messiah. We'll go back into this later. All right. I want to stop at this one right here, number 3. This is what the black women are doing. Prevent the militant black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to the community. The black women understand that there is no better way to discredit a heterosexual male than to say that he is not heterosexual. Understand this. These same women will, if you insult their non-heterosexual friends, they will come at you on every front possible. In other words, the same women that will defend the Gheiy males who are their friends would then use the Gheiy terminology to insult a hetero Afro male in order to discredit him before the Afro community. And these BWs understand that they are intentionally discrediting themselves, discrediting the good Afro men. Understand this, before the community. They understand that, and they are purposely attempting to tear down truth, to tear down the good men, to destroy good men. They understand that this is what they are doing. Willie Lynch letter, we will go over it. When he was writing the letter, said as much. And he said it would be illogical to think that all the wickedness that you are doing to a people would not cause them to want to rise up against you. We'll go over that. But understand, these women don't have that same logic. They want to prevent growth amongst their Afro male children. Not the white people, not the Cointelpro, not the government, but the black people.
This country has never cared about black people. That's right. They don't give 2 damns about us. And all of us always turn around worrying about what's good for America, what's good later for America, what's good for black people.
I know what they're going to say, not guilty, because no one saw them pull the trigger. I'm tired of that. Don't bow down anymore. Hold your heads up. You want our freedom now. I don't want to have to go to another memorial. I have children. Tired of it.
All this was about children.
That is fair enough.
We must also realize that the problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power.
If you can't do for yourself what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. If you can't set up a factory like he sets up a factory, don't talk that old equality talk.
Now, here is the thing. The main reason we can't talk equality talk is that we would and could set up factories, given the wealth that a lot of Afro men have made. Even Magic Johnson understood that he would have to set up businesses and conglomerates that were basically Caucasian owned and catered to Caucasians' taste before dealing with the Afro people. Why? Because, well, look at his son. He understood what these people have trained Afro people or black people. They have trained black people to destroy their own before they can even get started. The reason why we can't build up a business is that before you can build up a business, you have to trust that the people will come to that business and will patronize that business rather than destroy it. And if you're an Afro male, like the dude that had the restaurant, the BW will come, show their behinds literally, and destroy what your business is about to the point where you're out of business as an Afro man. It's very difficult to cater to people in the Afro community when the Afro community is not run anymore by intact nuclear families, but run by female-led, I don't need no man BWs who seek to destroy the children and destroy the image of Afro males everywhere. All right. It was in the interest, these are going to be excerpts from the Willie Lynch letters. I want y'all to understand the logic behind this. It was in the interest of business of slaveholders to study human nature. All right, and the slave nature in particular, with a view to practical results. I and many of them attained astonished proficiency in this direction. This is Willie Lynch talking. They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men. All right, so we were considered men, and by every regard they had for their own safety and prosperity, they needed to know the material on which they were to work. So understand this, before they classified us as as animals, all right, and as black, a color, they acknowledged that they were dealing with men, okay? Men that was conscious of the injustice and wrong. They were every hour perpetuating. All right, so conscious, the white man, conscious of the injustice and wrong, every hour they were every hour perpetuating and knowing what they themselves would do. I want y'all to understand. Conscious of the injustice. So white people, the white man and the white government always understood that what they were doing to the Afro men, because they knew we were men. Even when this Willie Lynch letter came out, they knew we were men. And they were doing these ills primarily to the men, which is why they were worried about the men. We'll discuss that in a minute. Why was the concentration particularly on men? Okay, we will discuss this in a minute. Why was the concentration on the Afro man? Understand, conscious of the injustice and wrong, they were every hour perpetuating and knowing what they themselves would do. So the white people understood that they were every hour perpetuating injustice and wrong. They also knew that they would rise up. Look at the Revolutionary War. They would rise up against them. Were they the victims of such wrong? He asks this in the question. Come on, y'all. We white people, were we the victims of such wrong? Don't think you know what we would do? Revolutionary War. They were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution. They watched, therefore, with skill and practiced eyes, and learned to read with great accuracy the state of mind and heart of the slave. Through his sable face, unusual sobriety, apparent abstractions, sulliness, and indifference indeed, any mood out of the common was afforded grounds for suspicion and inquiry. This comes from the Willie Lynch letter, page 2. Brothers and the sisters that are watching, they were seriously worried about the Afro male. Because remember, 2/3 of all slaves that they brought over here were males. Many of the black women that were brought over on here, some were slaves, but many were the concubines and or wives of the slaveholders. And you will find this in the French-owned territories and some of the Spanish and Portuguese-owned territories. The only people that did not engage in miscegenation on a large scale were the English. Oh, but don't get it twisted. They were shabwang-wanging the BWs too. And under manumissions were giving them property and slave holdings. All right? Brothers, we must understand. So, when you look at this, brothers, when you look at this, you look at women that have been betraying us all the way throughout history. Some women do not betray us, but most will. Now, why do I say Cointelpro? Because the same mechanisms for Cointelpro, when they say we are going to go about and discredit any man that is gaining respectability by telling the truth. In other words, these women will respect the man and give him respectability if he's bearing anything that is destructive to the Afro community, such as drug dealers, such as the Gheiy people, such as the beta, as they say, males, such as the boys Watkins, because he's asking the Afro males to do something that would be destructive to that Afro male potentially, and in most cases. All right, these women will not bother them because they know that what these dudes are doing are destructive, not only to the Afro males, but to the community as the whole. All right, and this is their purpose, because they figured by destroying the strong men and by destroying the Afro male child, that they would gain some kind of perpetual queenhood or godhood. Not understanding that the logic says that this is folly at best, because how can you be a god of a community that you destroyed? Who would be your worshipers after you destroyed the entire community? Because when you destroyed the entire community, the very Caucasians that you held and deified would then see you as poison, because you just destroyed the very people that you was trying to get to worship you. And now these females are starting to see that even their God don't want them. You know, white Jeebus and the Caucasian people. Other excerpts. Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort. Breed the mare and the stud until you have desired offspring. You know who the studs are? The studs right now are the drug dealers and the dudes coming out of prison. The BW are primarily breeding with only the bottom half, and by bottom I mean the most crooked, the most wicked of men that they can find, intentionally. These are who are producing most of the children. This was intended by the Caucasian society, but this intention is now backfiring on them, because as their Caucasian females follow suit, the evil they meant for us has now befallen them. Alright? To the point where you got a black woman, Meg Thee Stallion, who refers to herself as a male horse. Go figure that out. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse, the stud to freedom. So the thug, the drug dealers, they're allowed to roam around free in the Afro community, free from a lot of things. They will never have money, but they'll be able to go dip in and out of any of these females that they choose to. The black women, all right, then go to the government, train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand, and she will then turn and train the infant to eat out of your hands also. And this is what we get, where the BW uses the government instead of a marriage, instead of a husband, uses the government for money and makes the government her husband, and then train her daughters to do the same thing. This is why a lot of BWs think they don't need no man, because they have a husband. It's the government. But now they're crying because their husband, the government, is going broke. And so now they want the men who never were broke, who were always prospering, they want them to come in and take care of the mess that they made with the thugs. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to the labor. When This should be they become of age. We have reversed the relationship of her natural, and they call it uncivilized state, where she would have this have a strong dependency on the uncivilized. They put the NI, y'all know what they put in there. And she would have a limited protective tendency towards her independent male offspring and would raise the male offspring to be dependent like her. So they raised the males to be dependent on, and this is what you have. You got the males dependent on their mom. This is why when George Floyd was crying for his mama as he was dying, instead of reaching out to the Most High or saying, okay, this is it. Okay? Crying for his mama. Think about how sad that is. They go under and say that they, notice how they turn our natural nature as uncivilized, and now they are understanding that 2021, that all the time it's been the Caucasians that's been uncivilized. To do this kind of things to a civilized people is not only uncivilized, but evil. They said nature had provided for a balance, that the woman raised children and depended on the strong male for direction and protection. Now, understand this. To the women that says that they are the head of stuff, the Willie Lynch letter says, we reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized, N-I-G-G, you get it, apart, and bullwhipping the other to the point of death. All in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected. But here's the thing, that was only then. But then when the Afro male rose up, which there was a lot of wars, the female became protected. But see, what happened is that we didn't realize that most of the that black women were working on behalf of the Caucasian men and their system. All right, so the freed Afro woman that stuck with the Afro man had protection. And this worried them, according to the Willie Lynch letter. All right? This worried them. Now I want you to understand this.
To us most often is that a guy wants a woman with a big ass. He wants, you know, a thick leg.
Accountability is kryptonite to modern women. Man, you said the traumas. If I accept it, then you got to do something about it. Because what about the traumas that the black man has to deal with? But we still have to get out here and be functioning people in society, contributing. You don't get to walk around and say, have a special victim status.
I'm not saying we should have a special victim status, but our circumstance is different. We are women. We are less.
You're 24 years old. Is your circumstance harder or easier than your grandmother and your great-grandmother?
Understand the context.
Easier. We have access to information we didn't have.
Exponentially easier, but you're handling it worse. Your grandmother and your great-grandmother actually could work with a black man with more trauma.
Because they understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we're all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, you know, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you.
All right, you heard it, right?
Clip it. Slice it, put it on World Star. She said it, not me. Now that you're independent, you
We
don't
don't
need
have
freedom. There you go.
We don't
There
have
you
trust
go.
in the
And
black
there
man.
and there
We
you
don't.
go. And there you go. There you go, black man. There it is. She's finally got one to say it.
Build
Grandmother,
businesses with us.
And
your
this is the
grandmothers,
love
your
for Kevin
grandmothers, and your
Samuels'
grandmothers and your great
channel.
grandmothers had more trauma and more stress and did it better. They have exponentially less and are handling it worse. But it's because they're free and can do what the hell they want to. They don't need to be with you. So you don't need to feel any guilt for taking care of you. For putting yourself first and making your passion, your purpose, your priority. You don't need to feel guilty because this 24-year-old woman just said it. They don't feel any guilt about it. Thank you. So don't ask black men to care about your traumas. You can't even smile at us.
And whoop,
That's why they don't like
it
me.
is.
Because I won't allow you to dance around. I'm going to stay on the topic and get you to tell
All
the
right,
truth.
and so I wanted you to hear the full context of
Get you
this
to at least admit
conversation.
that. Yeah, that's the reality.
That is the reality. All right, that is the reality. And just in case you missed it,
Because they understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we're all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you.
Because they understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we're all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you.
Because they understood that the black woman and the black man are on the same side. Now that we're all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you.
so again, let me point this out. This is the Cointelpro. And y'all could freeze and understand this again, because I'm going to keep playing this. This is what the current crop of BW are doing to try to discredit any man that tell the truth. Understand this, Afro man. These women are not on our side as Afro men. They are literally trying to destroy us. And if we have a child with them, they're trying to destroy that child. If you want an so-called Afro woman that bad, get her from another country. I recommend going down south. Go to Colombia. Even if they have a child, in most cases this might be the case, they still honor men, and they teach their children to honor men. Certain societies don't have that feminist garbage as of yet. So allow these women to run into that wall wholeheartedly without you, and let her take the simps with her. To you BWs, welcome to the wall. You asked for it, now you got it.